Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So, this election is just a little bit over 7 months away, and I felt like I needed to make this video because we have to have a talk. And it doesn't necessarily mean that things are going poorly, but it is a little bit of a warning because we need to understand that we cannot take this thing for granted. We can't. Complacency is not optimism. Complacency kills. And the truth of the matter is this election is going to come down to 6 states. Democrats are not going to win Texas. There's polls that have Trump up there by over 10 points. The win could look more like 2008 than what Democrats hoped for 2024, which was a very close race. Democrats are likely not going to win North Carolina. Republicans, under the right circumstances, Trump could make a play for Minnesota or New Hampshire or Maine at large. But as of right now, is it the main focus? The main focus is on the 6 states that are not currently highlighted. Trump is winning all of them in the polls. He's doing very well there. Across the board, Biden's approval rating is in the gutter. That's true. And it's a very, very good thing to see. But it's not the be-all and end-all. I wish that it was, but it's not. And this election is going to be a very hard-fought election. Donald Trump is the favorite, but that doesn't mean he's going to stay the favorite if we take our foot off the gas and just, act like we're going to win, we're cruising to victory, but don't actually put in the work that we need to put in. And that's what it comes down to. We need people in chat taking people to get out and vote by the dozens, convincing people that they know. I mean, the facts are on our side. They're overwhelming. You look at the border, you look at what's going on. We cannot afford to mess this up. If we do, it will be absolutely nothing short of a total downright embarrassment. The economy's not recovering. Most independents know that, regardless of how much Biden can gaslight his own base into believing that. The border's wide open. Foreign affairs are a disaster. Finish him. End his career. Make him a one-term president. That's all we have to do. And I believe we're going to do it, but we have to follow the playbook. And we need to make sure that we register as many people that we know as possible and make sure that they get out and vote. If you vote, in person, which I think a lot of people do, then bring people with you. But also, this is another big thing in terms of voting. Early voting is important where necessary. I understand that people are skeptical of the whole mail-in system thing. That's one thing, but early voting is something that is a positive and needs to be taken advantage of, because you see what happens when every single person waits until election day. You look at Arizona in 2022. You look at very long lines. You look at other stuff, and then you look at this right here. If more people voted early, Kari Lake would be governor of the state of Arizona, in my opinion. The Republicans and the state parties, you name it, they're not going to be finding voters at the 11th hour. If they're getting them out to vote, they're banking votes early. I've yet to see an argument against it. And then you get to the really detrimental stuff like Nevada Senate race, because this was an election decided by just over 7,000 votes, and it's really frustrating when you have a snowstorm in northern Nevada on election day. A lot of Republicans wait, and the weather comes to bite them in the rear end. Adam Laxalt falls short by just a hair in this election. That is never a good sign. It's not. If that snowstorm did not happen, it's very likely that Laxalt could have prevailed. We could do the math. Maybe you could say, well, would have shaved down the margin of victory, but it wouldn't have helped him. We can't afford to bank on that. You really can't. We need to make sure more people do vote early. And the states that Republicans voted early in, they did very well in the midterms. Florida. They vote early in person in Florida. Texas is another one. Republicans statewide did very well there. They typically vote early in Texas, North Carolina, and most states have in-person early voting. Legal ballot harvesting is another one. The RNC's taking action. All that stuff is important. We need that in order to go out there and win. But also, we just need to get as many people enthusiastic as possible and get people volunteering, phone banking. You have a lot of retirees A lot of them can phone bank. They have time on their hands if they're physically able and they care about politics. Watching my videos, watching the news, arguing with people on social media, that's all fine. But the real victory is won in the trenches. You gotta get out there. You gotta volunteer. We need people of all generations volunteering. If they're able to do so and they have the time and they're not doing it, and Trump goes down by a little bit, well, should have been a little bit more likely to volunteer. And that's what it comes down to. People are worried about Trump's cash advantage. Well, volunteers usually at the end of the day don't really cost a whole lot. So we need people on board. We need people going out there, door knocking, doing what they need to possibly do in order to get this election won. When it's all said and done, get Republican voters, chase their ballots. That's what we have to do. Democrats have been very good lately at chasing ballots ever since their 2016 defeat. We need to chase ballots of our own, create the ballot chasing operation, and don't rely on just the RNC or one or two activists that you see putting in work. They're doing good work, but we need a lot more people doing the work. We hear a lot about Scott Pressler, and a lot of the work he does is good work that needs to be done, but he's not the only person that should be doing the work. We need a lot of people doing the work. You can't allow stuff like that to make you complacent. We need people out there on the front lines, duplicating it, replicating it, people that, are willing to get involved. If they want to see it happen, they've got to work for it. And if they do, the victory will be all the sweeter and they will share a piece in the pie of victory. But early voting, pushing for early voting, you talk about ballot chasing, all that stuff adds up. All that stuff matters. I see a lot of people going out there saying, don't vote early, vote at the last minute. And we see what happens when that happens. Like the argument I hear is, well, you're giving them data. Okay, well, they're giving us data. How has that worked out for us? It hasn't worked out too well at all, for one. And for two, they're giving themselves data based off of how much they think they'll need. And also, if we did it, we'd be getting more data, and we usually outperform anyways in states where we have it, like Texas, Florida, California, where Republicans actually have been getting better at, voting early or ballot harvesting or you name it. If you don't want to vote by mail, don't vote by mail, but vote in person early, which is usually the case, or drop the ballot off yourself, you name it. I know some people will wait until election day, but I feel like Democrats are outfoxing us because they know that we have a traditional mindset. They do. And the polls are all fine and they're great. But at the end of the day, this is one in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 states where, we dropped the ball in some races in 2022. And a big part of that was due to mechanics. Pennsylvania's another one. Democrats will bank a ridiculous amount of early votes. There is a big mail-in system, but people, again, can drop off the ballots, I believe. Make sure you check the local laws and everything like that. But still, it matters. We need people voting as much as possible. And if you're in a state like Florida or Texas, you look at the early vote leans more Republican, and it is in person. And then you just swamp them on election day with whatever you have with your remaining enthusiastic voters. That's really what it comes down to. That's what we need to be doing. Obviously, I still anticipate more Republicans will wait until election day regardless, but still, we do need a little bit of a push. And I feel like there is some controlled opposition to the fact that I see people saying, no, actually don't vote early. No, vote, period. That's the way it is. We need people out. We need people voting. And if they're already going to vote a certain way, yeah, the vote should be banked as early as possible. Make no mistake about it. And that's what it comes down to. But we need people to not be complacent. We need people to get out and vote. This election cannot be taken for granted. You want Biden gone, we have to bury him with a massive, I would say landslide, but that might not technically be the term, but it needs to be a decisive victory in the states that matter where we possibly can have one. We need to leave the Democrats scratching their heads in disbelief the way they were in 2016 when Hillary Clinton went down. If we are able to do that, we are going to have a very, very fun year. A lot of the fun's going to be happening in November, December. I want to be making videos later this year, not how we drop the ball. I want to be making videos about who is going to be in Trump's cabinet. What laws is Trump going to be going out there and trying to implement? What should he be focusing on first? Those are the videos that I want to be making this year. And I think that those are the videos that I think you guys would want me to be making later this year instead of, how we dropped the ball for the X amount of time in a row. We need to get it done. Enough is enough. We can. We have everything on our side. We have the facts. We have the candidate who's been 4 times indicted but is still leading in the polls because he's just that epic. And people know that it's just a political hit job. We got to go out there, finish this guy, finish this weak loser with his weak loser administration, and win big on November 5th, 2024. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle, out.